And ladies and gentlemen, but not ladies, because we don't care about y'all like that. Brothers, brothers. I got Mike Reed on my show, man. I got Mike Reed on my show.
I got this dog barking next door. Oh
So
man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it, brother. It's like the dog knows I'm live. And that's not my dog, that's my neighbor's. Hold on one. Can you hear that dog, or what, is that just me?
yeah, I can hear. I can hear.
All right. Okay, he quiet down just for a second. Never feed your neighbor's pet. All right. Yeah, brother, thanks for having me. I
Well,
appreciate you bringing me on as one of your guests.
well, I want to introduce you properly. Reason being, uh, it's my sentiment. The name of this track is called "Into the Hero," and I can't help but to say you've done some really historic things. Reason being, you work 7 days a week like me.
Yeah.
You also hop on here and you give out information, good game that I'm not gonna lie, it put money in my pocket. And
Well, good. I hope so. I hope so.
so in my mind, big brother,
Yes,
everybody
sir.
gets their own custom track. It's yours right here.
I got one of those Indiana Jones type entrance, major theatrical release. A Jason Bourne entrance without Jason Bourne. Well, thank you, brother. I feel like Tony Robbins now.
Hey, the people don't know. So then you know it's that serious. It's that serious, y'all. It's that serious. But
I appreciate that.
I wanted to kick it off, just asking, like, who is Mike Reed? Who is Mike Reed, the man? Who are you, sir?
Really, you want to hit me one of those Charlie Rose type questions?
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
the people need to know. They need to know. I talk to you in the background, so you know.
You hit me with one of those $1 million interview questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who is Stedman? Yeah. Okay. All right.
It's important for them to know.
That's what you're doing now. All right. Okay. I'm just a brother like you. I grew up in the Midwest, suburb of Chicago, and I went to I had a trajectory of a white collar future. I went to a private grammar school. I went to a very prestigious private religious high school, actually one of the top 10 in the country. And then I went to a private university for aviation. And then in my journeys working in a white collar world, I realized that it was bull. I realized that I was subservient to people who were less than me, mentally, physically, and just all around, just not in the position that should be telling me anything. And this is when I worked for the airlines. I was a junior vice president. I got up to the junior vice president level, what they call a station manager. So there were only like 2 or 3 more positions above me before you get to the CEO. And then you had then I left the private sector and I went to the federal government. I went to the FAA, and it was even worse over there on the government side. And here it is. I'm working. As I grew up, my father had the appliance business, and I helped him. So I would wake up in the morning. I do 2 or 3 jobs, cash jobs, and have a pocket full of money before noon. And here I am working for the government. I'm still doing the same thing. I never stopped my entire life. I never stopped. I always did the appliances. And it didn't make any sense anymore for me to listen to others, basically. And I just said forget it and went full-fledged, into the appliance world. And that allowed me to get married and start a family and the whole nine, because when you're chasing that corporate dream, you really can't. When you're in corporate America, as you see what happens with the sisters, what do? They working, they don't have no time for family, they don't have no time for kids and all that, chasing that imaginary ring. And I said, no, hell with this. And I left that, went full force with the appliances, and I never looked back.
Okay.
I know I'm leaving out a whole bunch, but yeah, essentially that's who I am. I'm a very independent individual.
No, I totally understand. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. Problem is, my mom and aunts and uncles, they decided to stop being entrepreneurs, and they went to work for the government, military, things of that nature. So, not me though. Most of my cousins own their own business, or if they worked in corporate, they only worked for a short time before we all were like, the hell with this. It's got to be a way. So I totally get it. I totally get it, bro. I'm the same way. I'm definitely the same way. My next question: how did you get your start in appliances?
All right, here, let me throw this up there. This is how I got my start. The old man right here. This is my father. My father started. My father was in the grocery business, and he was a district manager of a very large grocery store chain that's still around to this day. Matter of fact, they're in the middle of a merger right now, and he was responsible for selecting the contractors for the refrigeration for Chicago. He got to be really good friends with one of the techs, and the guy told him one day, he said, "Hey man, look, I've got a warehouse full of appliances, and I have a little bit of a problem." Now this is Chicago. This is back in the 80s and 90s. And Chicago is the most segregated city in the United States. So the guy explained to my father, he said, "Hey man, look, I sell my appliances." And we talked about this. He said, "I put an ad out in the paper. People call the ad for the appliances, and then they'll come to my house and they'll pick them up." He said, "But the problem I have is I get a ton of calls from black neighborhoods. And then when I tell them where I live, they say they don't want to come out there. And the reason for that is when you're black back there in the 80s and 80s and 90s, you did not go into certain neighborhoods because it meant you were going to get pulled over. And if you got pulled over, it meant that you might not ever come home. So people would never go over there." And he made the deal with my father. He said, "Hey, look, you can come pick up these truckloads of appliances. You can put them in your garage, put out an ad. People will come to your neighborhood to go pick them up. And then we could split it 50-50. All the stuff is already going to be working. All you got to do is clean them up." Right? He said, "If there's any problem, I got parts, and I can walk you through how to fix it." And so that's what my father did. My father had the stuff. He was selling them out the garage. And then around 90, about 91, around 91, 92, he took the money from the sales, and he bought a 6 storefront commercial building on a major street, in the west suburbs of Chicago. And we had in that, do you have any of these pictures? Do you have them ready?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay. So we had in the 6 storefront building, we had a video rental store, and the guy actually used to work for my father back in the day. They were good friends. We had a laundromat, an empty storefront, a hair salon, a daycare, and then a VCR repair store. That's how far back it went. The guy used to fix VCRs and TVs, and black and white and color TVs back in the day. And my father could never get one of the storefronts rented. And I told him, I said, hey, look, Pop, instead of you selling the appliances out of the garage, why don't we go ahead and move them to the empty storefront that you can't seem to rent out? And I'll be there. I'll sell the stuff. I'll go a couple of hours in the morning. Because I went to a private school, I didn't start school at 8. I didn't have to start school until 9, like 9:15. And then I was able to get off early due to not work release. What the hell they call it? Early work studies. So I didn't even stay. My school got out at like 2:15. So I actually didn't even have to stay till 2:15. I got out a little earlier than that. And so I would go to school. I would go to the shop, open up for a couple hours, sell to the contractors, all the Polish guys and stuff like that. Sell to them in the morning, close up, catch the bus to school, because I wasn't old enough to drive yet. Take the bus to school, go to school, get out early for work study, catch the bus back, open up in the late afternoon, and then work the store until my father got off of work, because my father was still working for that grocery chain. And so, that's essentially how we got started. So while we were growing our customer base, because we had stopped going from just newspaper sales to actually just a storefront, a brick and mortar where people would come in and getting that name recognition. Now, being that we were in a black neighborhood, the Polish, the Italians, the Mexicans, yes, they were able to come in, even though black people weren't able to like go out into the other neighborhoods. So we were getting the best of both worlds. And I started out cleaning the stuff. Now, mind you, this was 92. And if you keep in mind that appliances back then used to last 20, 30 years before they broke down. So I was working on stuff from the 70s, 60s and the 70s back then in the 90s. So 20 years from the 70s, there you go into the 90s. So the stuff was very, very simple back then. And so I went from cleaning to eventually my father would say, hey, look, before I come back to the store, if you open that door to that fridge, in there, I got a fan motor and I got a thermostat. Go ahead and put those on if you got time. And so I started slowly working on appliances like that, changing igniters and stuff like that. Everybody would already have things diagnosed, and then they would already have the parts there. And I would just go ahead and put on the parts. And that's actually how I started learning how to do repair.
That's great. Your father was able to teach you a skill set in a business. It's a shining example of what happens when young black men have their fathers in their lives versus when they don't. And I applaud your pop for trusting you at the high school age to open up and shut down and open back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I used to do a whole bunch of stuff because my father worked in the grocery business. I used to do, and somebody else had mentioned it online too. I used to do what you call facing. So my father had all these friends in the grocery business, and when they would go on vacation and they needed the spices and all that stuff on the shelves fixed up, I used to do that at like 12 and 13 years old. Because I was too young to go in the back of the grocery store. My father would, on Saturday mornings, my father would go take me to a grocery store. He'd take a pallet jack, bring out, a case of items, cut them open, and then I would go take those items and put it on the shelf and face it. So my father and I had been working together years before this. So it wasn't just like, oh well, let me give this a try. No, I had been working side by side with the old man since I was 12.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
My,
Yeah,
my,
the old man is something else.
yeah. My next, well, I gotta say this. Salute to all my brothers that decided to jump in and chime in. Much appreciated. I know y'all probably thought I was bullshit, but I told the truth. I'm doing interviews. God damn it, that's my thing.
Good.
And story time. Yeah, but y'all see, none of them positive, but it might be funny, but whatever. My next question.
Yeah.
As of right now, in your complete breadth of experience, because you have a lot to go from. Well, it also says a lot that you had enough courage to step out and be like, the hell with it, I'm done, and start your own thing. You're possibly proven the model for already, but
Oh yeah.
in your current business right now today,
Yeah.
where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself in the next 5, 1, 3 to 5 years, as far as business goes? Are you
As
looking?
far as business goes, I'm at the age and at the point in this industry now where I'm transitioning over to the teaching phase, to the each one teach one phase. That's something that was because I like for the longest, my father and I were one of the few of our kind in the business nationwide. And no matter where I went, no matter what happened, even the guy that taught my father the business, we were always told, hey, look, if you got to teach other people if you want, if you want to know something, or if you want more black people in the industry, you are going to have to teach it, because there's nowhere else for people to get this kind of information. So even the people that went to Sears and stuff like that, they kind of got locked into the business. And that was the other trap. If you went to go work for Ecolab or Sears or something like that, you were more or less, Alexander, what's happening? You were more or less banned from going out on your own. It's extremely difficult for you to go out on your own once you work for corporate America, or one of those big guys.
No, I get it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to teach and possibly get some type of some kind of learning facility going. So I'm working on getting that format going.
Well, you got my hands in my mind, brother. I got you. Let me know where, and we can start figuring out. One of the big things I wanted to do was broadcast this out, because the whole time I was in the same chat room as you, but I didn't know, or I was in the same chat as you, but I didn't know that this is what you did. So it's more exposure.
Right. Well, this is a very niche market. It's a very niche market. It's something that people don't know very much about. Like even when we were talking, we were both online the other day, and Machismo was like introducing me. He was saying, "Oh yeah, he knows HVAC," and I don't know anything about HVAC, and it's extremely difficult to explain to the average person what it is that I do. It's extremely difficult. I'll give you an example. I went on Chat GPT to get some images made, and Chat GPT had a hard time trying to create images for what it is that I do. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pop some up there. It just, there's nothing. When I go on Google and say it was Google AdWords and it's that type of thing, and or you're trying to do some kind of a website and they got preset things, there isn't a section for what it is that I do. No one knows what it is, and it's just extremely difficult to get people's mind to wrap around what it is.
I tried this. I tried to explain it to a few other people because I dabbled in it, but it wasn't something I took serious until I took it serious.
Mm-hmm. See,
Most people
look,
they don't understand. Yeah.
this is what ChatGPT came up with when I said, because I'm trying to do thumbnails to get more people to look at my videos. So in order to do that, you need your little eye candy. So I said, hey, ChatGPT, give me African American voluptuous appliance technician repairing a deep fryer in a commercial restaurant kitchen. And this is what it gave me. A woman with a baster. What the hell? Wearing an apron.
I was going to say ABW fried chicken, but I don't. Maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, it couldn't figure it out. It couldn't figure it out. And this is not the only try. I mean, I told it all kind of stuff with a hat, working on a stove, and I said, wearing a tool belt. It gave her an apron and a hat, leaning on a stove. Not even, but this is the thing, that it's programmed with only certain number of parameters, and they hadn't put anything in there for this because no one even knows that this industry exists. Excuse me. So it's just it's crazy, man. It is crazy. So I got, so this is just this is the best it came up with, man. It's the best it came up with. But if I told it give me a plumber, it's gonna give me a plumber. If I said give me a electrician, it's gonna give me an electrician.
Right.
But I said give me an appliance repair technician working in a kitchen, and this is what it gave me. And they weren't lying about the hands. The hands are weird. Gave me this a woman with like some kind of a brush in front of an item, wearing overalls, no tool belt, and it still looks like an apron. So yeah, this was its best attempt at eye candy. So I'll be using some of these on some of my thumbnails.
Okay. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's the best they can come up with.
ChatGPT they sound like it's a little Asus because it's like, nah, this the best. This the best we got for you.
This is the best it got for me. Yeah, it's the best it got for me. No matter what I gave the prompts, this is what it gave me.
Damn.
Yeah, but what can you do, bro? What can you do?
Well, as always, I'm not going to monopolize your time because I ain't yet, and I got to be up for the show and all that great stuff. I know you got y'all running to do. And my last and final question would be, how can everyone find you? Everyone in the future that sees this video, because it's gonna be seen. How can they find you?
All right. Well, you can find me on. Oh, let's see here. You can find me on Instagram. Let me see if I can find my. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on LinkedIn. Let me put up some of my the QR codes. I got them here somewhere. Got my QR codes. And I'll put those up. I got some. Well, let me put these links up real quick. Man, I wish I had this queued up for you, brother. Sorry about that. All right, so here's for my YouTube. And what we'll do is we'll just throw this up here on the screen. I'll put it on the chat. Let's see what it's doing. It's still thinking. Technical difficulties.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'm on. It's that new commercial. There we go. So you can always look up my name. What? I don't understand why it's doing this. They've been messing up lately. It's new to commercial. If you just Google my name, you'll find me on Instagram and YouTube. Just new to commercial. And you can always do Mike Reed. And this stuff comes up. See, so all my interviews, just like this one, came up. All my interviews come up, brother, but I don't come up. How about that? My interviews come up. So here it is. If you just Google my name, it says Mike Reed, full service provider, commercial, residential. You can always Google me. Here's another interview that I did with Mike Sneed. So you're in good company, brother. You're in good company. So here's one right here. So my stuff is out there. It's fully searchable. I have just as many people on Instagram as I do on YouTube. The funny thing is, I get more views on
this is the number to MVP group
Instagram than I do on YouTube. Way more views on Instagram than I do on YouTube. So all my stuff is there on how to get trained to do this kind of stuff, how to work in your McDonald's, how to work in your Olive Garden, Red Lobster, Dollar General, Family Dollar, your movie theaters, your local grocery stores, all that kind of stuff. Everything is there on my channel, and I constantly update it because training, there's always new dates on training that come up every single month.
Okay.
Every single month. Oh yeah, there's everybody.
Well,
yeah, every single month there's always something new. I was talking with a young man. I think he's like about 24, and he struck up a conversation with me today about the McDonald's ice cream machine. And so I spent a little time today educating him about why it is the way it is, who takes care of it, what he can take care of it, when he can get the training for that equipment, and then also a competitor brand that's at Freddy's Frozen Custard, Dairy Queen, and that type of thing. So,
see, I know something about Mike that y'all don't. Mike is a humble guy, and if you understood the wealth of knowledge that this man has, I ain't never been no kiss ass, but this man is a freaking genius. Let's just call it what it is.
I've been doing it long enough.
The amount of information that he gives me in one conversation, I don't retain it all. I don't. I'm normally the one that's pumping people full of information and overwhelming them. But now I'm getting overwhelmed with information because of the sheer volume he has. It's incredible. Like you said, you're transitioning to the teaching phase. Y'all need
it is. It is just one of those things, man. See, the old man is addicted to the accolades of people, to people who say, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Reed. Oh, appreciate that." Hey, man, I don't have that same complex. I'm gonna look for something else. I'm gonna try to train. His generation was all about self. My generation X, we kind of gotta we're forced with teaching the next generation. His generation, they're taking their football and they're going home.
Right. No, I get it. I definitely get it.
Yeah, they're leaving the business. They're cutting off the lights and they're closing the door, locking it up for good. And it's up to my generation to teach the next.
Okay.
Yeah.
we at the 30-minute. Well, about to be at the 30-minute mark.
Okay.
Brother, big brother, my big brother.
Yes,
I greatly appreciate you for coming on. I hope we can chop it up again on YouTube streets. We can meet up on the main flagship channel at Machismo TV.
Anytime, I'm in them, as they say, YouTube streets.
Right, Andre. I'm a novice at this, Andre. I ain't learned how to do that part yet. posting. I ain't learned that part. It's coming. But yeah, if anything, what I wanted to do is just give the good brother Mike Reed some more exposure and put it out there. Because again, he's a very humble gentleman. If y'all want to learn how to make some money, learn this. Learn this, goddammit. I ain't bullshitting. I walked in and did a repair and walked out within 15 minutes. That was $400. I was like, yep. So anyway.
Yeah, it's yes,
it's
sir.
Different. It's different. It's different. You know, I almost feel like I'm committing, like I'm robbing people with no gun. I'm serious, man.
Yeah, it seems like that until you, but you really got to get used to it. And once you try to do certain stuff, you realize, oh, I need a whole lot more money. I need to go up on my rates. So in the beginning, you feel like that, but you get used to it, especially when you got bills to pay, brother. You come back from vacation, you realize real quick you need to go up on your numbers.
Yeah, that wallet be a little light.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes, sir. That retirement fund needs funding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You brothers, I thank everyone for coming out. I got a notification talking about Uncle D's on, and we can't compete with Uncle D. Ain't trying to. The hell, I mean, no. I want to hear what the hell he's talking about. So I'm about to get up off this motherfucker. But brother, thank you, much appreciated.
Oh, and, sure, no problem.
As always, as an honored member of the family,
thank you.
of Machismo TV, we appreciate you, bro. Everybody in the chat, y'all be easy. And can somebody tell me what starred means? I have no fucking clue right now. But I'll figure it out. Star in comments. I'm like, star in comments.
Yeah, it'll pin it. It'll pin it up at the top.
Okay.
It'll make it highlighted up at the top, kind of like freeze it up there. So yeah, YouTube is really, it's not cooperating with us like it was with other subscribers, because its show has been acting real funky with me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, and y'all get ready for early morning story time when the PTSD kick in and I can't sleep. I got plenty of stories. But, peace,
yes,
brother.
Sir. All right, thanks for having me.
All right.